Hi there, this is Mike Rankin with Relational Advisors, and I wanted to share an idea with you, and it's not a new idea. It's actually around college savings, the 529 plans. And I really feel like this is one of the most overlooked financial tools out there, almost a financial weapon in my view. It's such a great tool. But historically, a lot of people haven't put money in the 529s, or at least not enough, simply because they say, well, what if my child doesn't use it, doesn't go to university, or I don't want to overfund the 529, that's for sure. So again, just a little bit of a recap. The 529 plans, you put the money in the 529 and it goes in with after-tax money. But then all of the growth on the investments there grow tax-free as long as you end up using those proceeds for college tuition, room and board, books, meals, all of that. And now, if there is any money left over, this is a function of Secure 2.0, which was just passed at the end of 2022. If you do have any money left in that 529 when your student is done, that can be rolled over to a Roth IRA for the benefit of that child. So there are, certainly rules and provisions around that, but it makes it into just an incredible financial tool. And I think one of the most important things about the 529 is getting started early, especially really right when your child is born. You can use a calculator. This one happens to be from the Capital Group or American Funds, but you can find a number of different calculators online. And you can go ahead and you can plug in, my child's 1 year old. This is Cal State University of Fullerton for the duration of 4 years. You plug in all the inputs. What's amazing in this scenario is that estimated funding goal is $205,000. And again, that's going to be 18, 19 years from now, but it's hard for many of us to get our mind around that sum of money. But if you start plugging away at just around $500 a month, which granted, that's a lot. But here, the scenario is assuming that you're in fact funding 100% of it. But what happens over time, and this is a chart of kind of the time value of money, but it's separating out in the black line there. That's the amount of principal that's put in, and the blue line is the total value. So the difference between the two is the earnings growth, right? And again, it's tax-free. If you look here in this example, in the first almost 10 years, there's very little difference between the principal that's put in and the growth. And so this speaks to the time value of money and how compounding works. But then you can see that, 15, 18, 19 years into putting the money away religiously each month, you start to get this really significant spread between the principal that one has put in and the earnings growth. Now, keep in mind, these are stock-based mutual funds, so sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. This is pretty linear, and it all looks good, but certainly over this time period, there were 2 recessions, and so you do have to understand that there's a risk of loss, especially in the short term. However, over a 20-year period, you can see the substantial difference. And at the end of the day, once you start withdrawing out, you can see that the black line is going down. That's the principal being used to pay for the tuition, room, board expenses. And you look at the difference there, a significant sum of money that is in essence tax-free that is going to pay for tuition. So it ends up being a huge discount at the end of the day. And then again, if there is money that's left over, you can now roll some of that over year in and year out to a Roth IRA for the benefit of that beneficiary. Again, there's a lot of rules around that, regulations that are still coming out. But I urge you to look at this. One of the things that we did when our kids were young, we told our grandparents and relatives and friends, hey, instead of a birthday present, instead of a Christmas present or holiday gift, please just deposit straight into the 529. And so that's what they did. So I think it's a great tool for not only parents, but grandparents, aunts and uncles to deposit straight into the 529. And then that way you can make your monthly contributions and grow that asset. And I think that the 529 is not only overlooked, but I think it's something that can give all of us the financial piece that we look for when sending our kids to college, and hopefully avoid them having to take on debt because we have spent 20 years putting money away for them. So if you're able to do it, even small amounts just to get started, really a little goes a long way, especially when you have 15, 18, and 20 years to have the time value of money work for you. So that's my thought for the day. This is Mike Rankin at Relational Advisors on 529 plans.